Hey, welcome to the Oakley Podcast, Trucking Business and Family. My name is Jeremy Kellett. I'm Director of Recruiting here at Oakley Trucking, and I'm your host for this podcast. You know, this podcast, we say trucking, business, and family, and that's truly what this podcast is about. And it's geared to our owner-operators at Oakley Trucking, along with every other truck driver, company driver, or owner-operator out there in the country. And we enjoy getting feedback from you guys, listening to the episode every week. We're on like 240, 231, something like that. Okay. Episodes. I mean, it just keeps going, and we really try hard. I want y'all to know that we try hard to bring you some good relative content that will help you be successful. We're not a big news podcast and talk about a lot of things everybody else has already talked about. We try to give you some good information here at the Oakley Podcast. But to do that, I need feedback from you. A couple things. One, you are our advertising. We need you to subscribe. I need you to share it with a friend. Tell somebody. Like it on YouTube. Check out all our social media too. But I need you to spread the word about the Oakley Podcast. We feel like it's it's something good that we're helping truck drivers. We're trying to change the image of truck drivers. I think we all know truck drivers have a bad image, just like trucking companies, and we're doing our best to try to change that little by little. So I just need your help to spread the word about Oakley and the Oakley Podcast, and comment on as much as you can. Let us know your feedback. So today, on today's episode, a little something different we've never dove into, but we're going to talk about fuel today, and I'm talking about things that associate with fuel. We're going to talk about fuel mileage. That owner-operators are real interested in their fuel mileage. We're going to visit on that a little bit, give you some stats, maybe some tips that other owner-operators are doing to control their fuel mileage. We're going to give you an idea of how much money is spent, how many gallons Oakley owner-operators go through in a year's time. That'll floor you when you figure that out. We also got fuel discounts that we're proud of. We're going to share that with you. We're going to share fuel fraud. That's been a big deal this year that we've got to talk about, and we need everybody to tune in and listen to that section for sure on fuel fraud and how to prevent it. Also, we might touch a little bit on some fuel taxes. We just got lots of stuff talking about fuel, and to help me with this, I had to pull in our fuel guru, Corey Huey. No, Corey actually manages the EFS fuel cards and the EFS fuel system, and he knows a lot about that too. That's going to help us with the fuel fraud, and he's got some numbers too. And of course, my co-host Megan, hanging out with me.
I was waiting for that part.
I
didn't think you were going to say anything.
But for that, so here's the deal for the people that are not watching us. I don't know why they would not watch us, but I guess they're driving down the road, got to listen to it. But at some point, when you get stopped and you get a chance to tune in, you have got to check out our new studio, our new setup.
Absolutely.
We got rid of the chairs. We got a new podcast table. I mean.
Like a news
anchor.
Corey feels like.
I feel like we should be telling you what's going to come on at 10 p.m.
No, this is official podcast table. Thanks to Oakley for letting us get it and set this thing up. It looks awesome.
Thanks to you guys for setting it up.
Yeah, looks real good.
At Aero Truck Sales in Springfield, Missouri, they take the hassle out of buying and selling semi-trucks. No matter the manufacturer, the style of cab, or the type of engine under the hood, they can make you a fair offer on your semi-truck with no games or gimmicks. They carry trucks from all the major manufacturers in the trucking industry and perform a thorough inspection of every truck on their lot to ensure safety and quality and give you confidence that you're getting a reliable truck that will last you for years at a price that you can afford. Aero has partnered with Oakley Trucking and the Oakley Podcast for years and are proud to provide our owner-operators with trucks that meet Oakley's qualifications and each owner-operator's specific needs. So whether you're a first-time owner-operator or just looking for a change of scenery, give Keith Wilson a call at 573-216-6047 and let them know you heard it here on the Oakley Podcast.
So Let's get cranked off here. Talking about first, I think let's talk about a little bit of fuel mileage, and that's something that we put out a question on social media yesterday or a couple days ago, asking about what was the question actually, Corey? What's your fuel mileage?
I think what was your fuel mileage and what are things that you do that you can maybe improve that out on the road,
So we got some comments, a lot of comments on that. Megan's going to read those after a while because she loves this comment section where she gets to mention names and stuff.
It's my favorite part of the show.
Plus, we got to take her mind off going to the dentist this afternoon.
Well, thanks for mentioning that to everybody.
Worried-
My palms have been sweaty all morning. I'm
Worried
so
about
scared.
a little cavity feeling. I mean,
Don't tell everybody I've
it
got a
won't
cavity.
happen. Well, I mean, we all have them at some point.
This is my first one at 26 years old. So if you're going to tell people I have a cavity, also mention
So you're proud of
how
it
long
just being
it took
one.
me to get one.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe I'll just not go to the dentist.
No, you can't cancel.
The
You
more
got
I think
to
about
do it. Teeth. You got to take care of your teeth. Hey, fuel mileage. Fuel is, so let's put it in perspective here for our listeners out there that maybe are not owner-operators. Let's give them a quick example of how much fuel costs. Their biggest expense is fuel, right, Corey?
Absolutely.
I mean, even bigger than the truck. I mean, the fuel is the biggest expense that they have.
Right.
So, how much fuel you think they buy, Megan, in a week's time?
Like per
Months.
driver or
Per truck, yeah. That, you bought a truck
Burn
and
my
you're going
truck.
out. Yeah, how much fuel you think you'll burn
in how long?
in a week?
A week
Have any idea?
with gallons?
Or money?
Money? Okay. Well,
It's okay.
okay. So my Toyota gets 13 gallon. It's a 13-gallon tank,
Okay.
right?
I don't know, but I'll go
Okay.
with it.
So it takes me about a week to drive, a week to go through that.
Okay.
And that's Sunday to Sunday from Cabot to North Little Rock. I don't know why y'all are smiling. 'Cause it makes me feel
I think it's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what, 13 gallons in a week, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so
That didn't help me as much as I thought it would.
all right, let's get her off the spot there, Corey. Sorry about that.
I'd say just a round number, 675
Okay.
gallons.
And
I need a
I'll tell
buzzer.
you to double that.
Yeah. So let's make it simple. If a guy runs, an owner operator runs, let's say 3,000 miles in a week's time, to make it simple, 3,000 miles, and he gets average 6 mile a gallon,
Yep.
because that's our company average is 5.9. That's what it's been the last few months, 5.9 miles per gallon. That's what the whole fleet averages out of 900 owner-operators. They average 5.9. So if you're listening to this as one of our owner-operators, you can kind of gauge where you're at compared to the fleet average. But let's just say 3,000 miles divided by 6 miles a gallon. That's 500 gallons of fuel that he bought for this week. Times, make it simple, fuel's about $3 a gallon. That's $1,500 that owner-operator spent to run that 3,000 miles in 1 week.
Well,
So, expensive. Fuel is expensive. It's a big expense to all the owner-operators out there. I mean, it takes a lot of planning, a lot of crunching numbers, because a half a gallon can make a difference. 1 gallon, 1 mile per gallon can make a huge difference in their paycheck going home, where they can save money. What do our owner-operators spend, you think, Corey, in fuel?
Well, so I actually cheated on that and looked at a few, but the 1099s are out, by the way, for the 2024. So I went through and just kind of randomly picked a few owner-operators, and, I mean, they had wide ranges, but, I mean, I saw anywhere from, 47,000 on the low end up to $74,000 on the high end.
Spent $74,000 in
Yep,
diesel fuel in 1
annually.
year.
Yep.
Do they get to? Is that any kind of like a tax deductible thing
Yeah.
for a driver? Okay.
Yeah, all expenses. Yeah.
Okay.
Not for you. Don't try to put that on your taxes. You don't get that, Megan. Well,
But yeah, that's so going back to your original point. I mean, yes,
how many
that's-
miles? Did you look up how many miles they had?
No, I mean, I would say 110 probably on that higher side, and on the lower one it was like 70,000 miles maybe. So
Yeah, so it just depends on what you're doing. So
Right.
I think that the point of it is that fuel's expensive, and it's a huge cost to these owner-operators.
absolutely.
And we have to, we don't have to, but we try to help them, save money on fuel best that they can by giving
Oh,
them
yeah.
discounts.
Yeah.
How many gallons was that? How many gallons? Oh, we was going to ask Megan this, wasn't we?
Yeah.
Oh, goody! Another question. What is
Was it going to be the yearly?
Yeah.
How many gallons?
Sheet here.
How many gallons a month or a year do you think our owner-operators bought? How many gallons of fuel did 900 owner-operators buy in a year's time?
Okay, what did I just say a second ago for a week? 675. And you guys said
You
double
said
it.
that was money, though. This is
No.
gallons.
I was talking about gallons.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was I close?
Yeah. Well, not
Okay.
really.
Okay.
But you were good. It was close. Closer.
In a year, is that what we're
Yeah.
doing? How many gallons?
Yep.
Everybody.
All owner-operators
900
purchased.
plus
Yep.
purchased. I'm gonna say, is it upwards of 1 million?
Yep.
I mean, obviously, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm
Good
gonna say
guess.
2.5
Good guess.
mil.
So, that's wrong.
What was it?
But Corey has the numbers. I know we do about 1 million or 1.2 a month.
So total for the year of 2024, we total gallons 13,781,892.
13 million gallons in a year's time
Yep.
bought by our owner-operators.
Yep.
That is a, what's that equivalent to the money-wise?
Money wise, 43 million.
$43 million spent on fuel by our owner-operators in 2024.
Is there kind of like a median that it stays around, or does it just fluctuate because the price of fuel fluctuates?
What does?
Well,
That's-
like, is there like normally we stay around this number
Normally,
from year to year as far as fuel goes?
no. As far as the price, no. I mean, it fluctuates, but the gallons,
The
yes,
gallon should
yes.
be.
Or
Yeah.
as long as we stay around 900, you gain trucks, you're gonna get a little bit more. You have more freight one month than you do the other, then it's more. But 13 million gallons in a year's time, that $43 million worth of fuel that just this company
Yeah.
spent is amazing. And it just goes to show you how important fuel is. So saving money on fuel, getting fuel discounts, I mean, all this plays a part. We have, everybody out there, owner-operators, got tips and what they do to save money on fuel. And we're going to get to some of that later. But I was wanting to get to the fuel discounts next. Corey, what do you got? You got something you're still?
Well, I
gonna
was
add
just
there?
gonna say, good segue into fuel discount. So, our average discount for last year was 57 cents a gallon for the whole fleet. So, pretty good. And you translate that into the 13.7 million gallons that we bought. I mean, I figured that up as our how much money our owner operator saved was $7.8 million in fuel savings with that discount.
So that's a lot of money.
Absolutely.
So, and for people to, understand, well, how did you get discounts? How did discounts come about? So, because this is something that that was worked on long and hard to get owner-operators discounts. So all these major truck stops, whether it's Love's, Pilot Flying J, TA Petro, and Best Locations, Road Ranger. I mean, all of these out there would not give any discounts to an owner-operator company. Mm-hmm. You know why?
No.
Because we could not tell them, we can't tell them where to fuel. So the fuel company was wanting, hey, I'll give you a discount if you'll send all your guys to Love's. And like a company truck, you could do that. You could tell a guy where to go.
Right.
Owner-operator, he fuels wherever he wants to fuel.
Yeah.
Well, eventually they came around, and they started giving us discounts. Love's was one of the first ones that really gave us good discount, and then the other ones followed. And it takes some negotiating with the fuel stops to get it, but we pass all these fuel savings along to these owner-operators, and they have offered, to average 50 cents a gallon for the whole year is a discount. That is fantastic to be able to get. We have helped save our owner-operators over $7 million by negotiating these discounts with all the fuel stops. And
does that just apply automatically whenever they put their fuel card in?
Yep.
Okay. So.
And that has just been such a great tool. I can't thank the companies enough. All the truck stops and people that give Oakley owner-operators discounts. It's just it's been a huge help. And you start figuring that, especially on your weekly settlement, how much it saves you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Add up a lot.
Yeah. And I was talking to the new guys this morning. I go in there every week in orientation and give them their fuel card and just kind of go over some of this stuff with them. And that's, that's what I leave them with is, take advantage of these fuel discounts because, you never know when they're going to leave. But, you just think about, if every time you filled up you got 100 gallons, that's $50 you saved every time, and that adds up over a week, a month, a year, obviously. But
how do they see where they get their fuel discounts at? Is that like how can the drivers check to see which fuel stop gets them discounts?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways. We have, the TransFlow app that they have for all their logging, paperwork scanning, all that. There's a tab on there for fuel discounts, and they can click on that, and it's basically just brings up like a Google image of, where they're located, and then there's just pins all over on the map of fuel stops, and they can click around and choose which one provides the best discount. So there's that way. There's the fuel management program, the driver toolkit, where they can log in there and type in, Kentucky or Tennessee or Georgia, whatever state, and it'll pull up every fuel discount in that state to shop around and find the best fuel. So there's several ways that a driver can find the fuel discounts.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Do we go, and I guess you go over that with them in orientation when they come through?
I do,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, and you really got to pay attention to that because, as I mentioned, I think on the last podcast in the intro, that Pilot Flying J has changed some of their discounts at certain locations.
Right.
Well, it's hard for us to keep you updated on all that all the time. You really just need to pay attention. That TransFlow app or that website driver toolkit is accurate. Should be. Now, we've had a few issues in the past, but it's pretty accurate, and you really need to look because you may not know that Pilot Flying J gave you some better discounts.
Right.
You don't always just want to select, I'm just sticking with this one because, I guess they're all pretty comparable, but
pretty close, yeah.
But you still could, there can be a difference of 5-10 cents, at some of them. So makes a difference on fuel, especially when you're talking that much money. Corey, tell us about, did we have anything else we wanted to touch on that? We covered the fuel discounts pretty good, answered all the questions we had. Okay. Here's the big thing is this fuel fraud that we've been battling.
Yeah.
And we don't have to get in a ditch with it too bad, but it is something that is happening, every day? A couple times a week?
Definitely a couple times every week.
Tell them what we mean when I say fuel fraud.
So, the biggest, what we hear from EFS is when you swap your card at a pump, And I mean, you all notice this too. I'm sure I do. But if you go to a gas station or a truck stop, and in the fuel pump, they've got like a little sticker across the
slot where you put
the
it in?
slot where you put it in, and that's like a safety seal, basically, where you see that it hasn't been tampered with.
Yeah.
Well, so somehow, and I don't know how these scammers are doing this, and they're very good at it for one, but they're putting these, they call them skimmers on the pumps.
Yeah.
So whenever you swap your card there at the truck stop, it's capturing all your information off your card, and then they just transfer that to a dummy card, and then bam, now they've got your fuel card. So
That was a big epidemic a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and I still, it's like a knee-jerk reaction every time I go to the gas pump. I always pull on it, make sure I can't pull it off,
Yeah.
and then I stick my card in.
Yeah, so it's to no fault of our owner operator or any truck driver out there. I mean, that's not something that you expect to happen or that you're really looking for, and it's hard to tell anyway. But when they do that, when they capture your information, well, then they're charging fuel off your fuel card, and that's how this is happening. And I wish I would have got some numbers, but I would say, man, just guessing over the last year and a half, I mean, we've probably had $250,000 in fuel fraud.
When something like that happens, are they alerted, or does it just go to you and you let them know?
Well, so used to not, but we've kind of we've gotten with Eric and IT department here at Oakley and with EFS and kind of put some safety measures in place. And one thing that we've done is we've inserted a text feature. So each when I set these fuel cards up for these owner operators, they're all individually set up for that owner operator. So it's under their truck number, their name, their phone number, all that stuff. So just like a major credit card or something like that you have, anytime your card shows activity or is charged, it sends a text message to the owner operator that says, August or January 15th at 9:50 a.m. you got fuel at the Loves in Dallas, Texas, or wherever the stop was, and so what I tell our owner operators is if you just got fuel there, then you just disregard that text and go about your day. But if you're driving down the road, you're in Oklahoma or Georgia, and you get a text that says you just got fuel in Dallas, Texas, well, you need to be picking up the phone and calling your dispatcher, calling me, letting us know so that we can cancel that card so that they don't continue to get that fraud on there. So,
do we get notified as well? Like, I know that they get a text message.
Yeah, so I don't have any way of knowing unless they notify me.
Okay, so they need to call you and let you know.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and then then that just chain reacts along fraud paperwork that we have to fill out here at Oakley and turn that in to EFS to get credited back for that, and then obviously we have to cancel the owner operator's fuel card when that happens and issue them a new fuel card. So it's
and how does that work? I mean, they if they don't have another fuel card.
Well, if they don't have another one, then it can be tricky. So a lot of times, we've had guys have to, put it on their personal card or, write an EFS check for it or something like that. Or, we've even gone as far as to overnight fuel cards to a customer or something where a driver's headed to kind of help in that aspect. But we've started giving out 2 fuel cards now. So
A blank
one, just a spare card. Just I tell everybody, hey, put this in your glove box or your permit book or something. It's not activated, but if something happens to your current one, you always got this backup. You can call me and
Yeah.
we can switch it over so that, the main thing there is that you're not missing out on any of these fuel discounts that we just talked about, because you're not getting those discounts if you're not using Oakley's EFS
Yeah.
card.
You use your own personal card,
Right.
you don't
Yeah.
get them.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Cost you a lot of money.
Well,
Sounds like if you use your
Fuel
personal
fraud has been an ongoing battle with EFS and with the truck stop. So you've made a transition with these apps.
Right. Yeah, and so, I mean, there's good and bad with anything. This was something else I was just talking with the new guys down there this morning in orientation. But so, going back to what we were originally talking about, where they're putting these skimmers on the pumps. So they tell us the best way to avoid fuel fraud is to avoid swapping the card. Well, how do you get fuel then if you don't swap the card? Well, all your truck stops now have a fuel app. So one thing that they've told us is to use these fuel apps, and kind of how that works is you upload your card information on the app, which is a good thing. In the event that you left your fuel card at home or it cracked and the back of the strip is scratched up and doesn't want to work anymore, well, you still got it on the app. So you can activate the pump right there off your phone,
Really?
which is a great tool. So,
Yeah.
so that avoids swapping the card altogether. The downfall that we've seen, or the issue that we've been having, is in the example I gave in orientation this morning, driver gets the app out, tries to activate the pump, gets up there, and for whatever reason it doesn't work, and he's having issues with it. So he walks inside, says, hey, I'm trying to activate the pump, it's not working, and the clerk says, well, just swap it here at the desk. What pump are you on? I'm on pump 17. Okay, swaps the card, she activates the pump, driver goes out there, gets his fuel, leaves, thinking everything's good and fine. Well, whenever he was on the app, he did a pre-authorization to activate the pump.
Oh, no.
So driver, whoever comes in behind him, gets fuel on Oakley owner-operator.
Yeah.
So the issue that we've been having there is, whenever they investigate that, they determine that, they don't care that our truck got the fuel or not. All they can see on their end is that we activated the pump. So it's like they don't know that they wasn't buying fuel for the truck behind them or not. So so that's kind of the down issue to the app. So,
So what does the owner operator need to do?
well, so
The majority of them is fine. This is very
what I try to tell everybody is, if you want to use the app, that's fine. Just be cautious of that scenario. If you try to activate the pump with the app and it's not working, you need to go in there and tell the clerk, hey, I'm trying to use the app, it's not working. They can log on there on the computer and cancel that pre-authorization. Or call me, and I can get in there, cancel the pre-authorization.
Oh, you can?
Through Tom, through EFS, and do all that. So now I can't do it at midnight or 1 a.m., obviously, but if you don't do that, then you're subject to that scenario that I just gave, and then ultimately, the driver is responsible for that charge. I've had some tough conversations with drivers. We know exactly where he is based on his Geotab, that he's 2.5 hours away driving down the road, so he physically can't be getting fuel, but he ends up getting charged for it because of he did a pre-auth.
Oh, my God. So that authorization can last for that long?
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea. Thought it was like a vending machine thing where eventually it just cancels your card out.
Yeah, so there's pros and cons to all that stuff, but just be,
Is there anything that they can do realistically to prevent fraud, or is it just kind of
Well, I think just what he said is if you do a pre-authorization for fuel, then you don't need to go in and use your fuel card too. You
Right.
need to make sure that's canceled
Right.
by either the truck stop canceling it or us canceling it, which I
Right.
didn't know we could do, but that's good. Because you don't want to leave it hanging out there. If it
Right.
didn't, for some reason, they say it
Yeah.
didn't work, and then you swipe your card. I mean,
Yeah.
and pay attention to the text you get.
Absolutely. Yes, that is the most important thing. You know.
We created that through the IT department, as you said earlier, and it's for your benefit as an owner operator is to pay attention to that text that you get from fuel, and knowing that you did get that fuel. And if you didn't,
Yeah.
you need to be calling us
Yeah.
ASAP for sure.
And it works. I mean, most guys are pretty good about calling me or Harrison, and saying, "Hey, I just got this text," and occasionally we'll have a scenario, not to get too deep into this, but where a guy will get fuel, and then for whatever reason, the truck stop loses the receipt or something, and then towards the end of the month, whenever they're calculating their books or whatever, they're like, "Oh, hey, we forgot this," and then a charge gets sent through basically, and a driver will get a text and says, "Man, it shows I just got fuel here and I'm not there," and we'll go back and look, and he was there 2 weeks ago. He just never got charged for it at that time, so that happens occasionally. But
And I don't know that all our owner operators understand that it works off the Geotab.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
So that brings up kind of another good point that we were talking about yesterday, Megan, with truck trades. If you're buying a new truck, so let's say, example, you come here to the Oakley shop to get your wet kit or blower removed off your truck because I'm going to trade this truck in whatever city, and on your way to pick up your new truck, you need to get fuel, or you've picked up your new truck and you're coming back here to get that information or that equipment back on your truck, and you need fuel. Prior to all that happening, I need to know that you're trading trucks, because another safety measure that we do besides this text feature is your Geotab is linked to your fuel card as well. That helps us with your fuel taxes and things like that, on knowing how many miles you've ran, all that stuff. But it also, as far as the safety feature goes, it pings your location. So if you're trying to get fuel here in North Little Rock at the Loves or the Pilot here in North Little Rock, it pings the truck stop location, and then it pings the Geotab in your truck location. And if those two aren't within a close proximity, it doesn't allow your fuel card to work.
Oh, okay. See, I always thought it went off your truck number.
No.
So it goes off your Geotab.
So what that means is, if you're in a new truck, you don't have a Geotab in your truck yet. Or if you're taking your old truck to go pick up your new truck, we've taken that Geotab out. So I can go in there and do like an override to where you can get fuel, but I just need to know that prior to, you leaving to go get your truck. So,
And I'm not sitting at the fuel pump needing
right,
fuel
yeah.
on
Yeah.
Why is
empty,
my
and I
fuel
can't get
card
a
not
hold.
working?
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Think ahead.
Right.
Think ahead.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Fuel at the yard. We wanted to mention real quick. Fuel at the yard. We were talking a little bit about that yesterday.
Yeah. 3 pumps here on our yard, 2 diesel pumps and a DEF pump. We try to, we set that fuel price on a daily basis, I guess, based off of the fuel prices here in North Little Rock, the Loves, I believe, so that discounted price. So your fuel card works here just like it does any other fuel stop. You'll swap your card here, enter your information, and bam, you get Oakley fuel. So
Yeah, and that Oakley fuel, not to go too depth, but we just have to purchase that just like a truck stop does. We don't have fuel here on the yard. We used to have some, but not anymore. So we just have to buy it, just like everybody else does.
Right.
But it's good fuel, and we
It's
try to
pretty
give.
busy over there.
Yeah. Oh
Really?
yeah. Yeah. We try to give the best discounts we can. We can't compete a lot with these big guys,
Right.
like Loves and stuff. But anyway, we try to give our guys the best discount we possibly can. Which I was gonna touch a little bit on fuel taxes, but I'm taking that off the board. I ain't gonna mess with that. I was gonna put Megan on the spot again.
Oh no.
But what I do want to do is finish up with some of these comments.
Yeah.
That we got. Now, last episode, we actually put out the question. We said, Annabelle put out the question of your favorite truck stop and why. Well, then yesterday we had a quick little meeting on this episode, and we decided to change that to what is your fuel mileage or similar. Isn't that what'd you put out, Corey? What kind of fuel
mileage and
Yeah.
what are things that you do to improve it out there?
Yeah. So we've got some responses that, and this is Megan's favorite part of the show.
Yes.
To read some responses of what is your fuel mileage and what are some things you do to get better fuel mileage. And then that other question about the truck stops, we're going to get to that on the next episode. So we'll cover that too.
We should really have some kind of like a little song or a jingle for the comment section.
Well, you got something you can whistle or sing, anything like that?
No, you'll have to give me a couple.
You need to work on that.
Yeah.
Like the deal that comes in, breaking news.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here's Megan with the comment section.
Yeah, that's what it's called. That's what we should call it, the comment section. I think that is really good. Okay. So I have one on here. I want to read Tony's because I have a story about that. Here's something that I didn't realize. So when you live in your truck until you go home, and I know this makes me sound really silly, but until I started working here, it just was never something that I thought about. But if it's hot outside, if it's cold outside, you want it to be cool or warm in your truck while you're asleep. And you have to at least take, 10 hours? 10-hour break.
10-hour break.
Yeah,
right.
So I never knew that you weren't supposed to idle. And I guess that's where an APU comes in.
Correct.
Okay. So a lot of these answers we're talking about, one guy said, I've never let my truck idle overnight once. This guy said, never idle overnight. He's got a Honda generator. So I guess, what does your APU use what does that go off of?
Good question. So an APU, APU can operate off diesel fuel. And there are some electric,
Okay.
battery APUs out there too. There's a variety of APUs out there, but that is the goal, is because you compare fuel and what it costs, and we talked about that earlier, and how expensive fuel can be. So you can imagine running your truck for 10 hours.
Yeah.
And idling and using, these guys will have it down to a science of what it costs them to run, fuel for 10 hours. And compared to if I had an APU that cost this amount of money on my truck, I could save this. And this APU, was designed to pay for itself pretty quick. So an APU is definitely
So you're still using
good
diesel,
investment.
just not that much.
Not near as much.
Okay, got it.
And then the guy that says the generator, he's using gas, so he's having to somehow fill that thing up with gas.
Interesting. Here's one. Okay, so Tony Hollingsworth says, run red fuel. It's a lot cheaper, so mileage isn't as big of an issue. And I was listen. I was
Disclaimer, don't
hold
listen
on.
to Tony.
I was looking through these comments yesterday, and I was like, why is everybody laughing at it? And I didn't understand why. I didn't know if that was just a better brand of fuel. Google says that that's what you put in like a regular truck.
Well,
Not like an on-the-road vehicle, right?
It's off-road, like farm diesel.
Yeah.
For tractors and stuff.
So I just wanted to let everyone know that now I know what that means. I didn't know what it was before, and I'm like, why is everybody laughing at it? I don't get it. He's just trying to give you a helpful piece of advice.
Tony's a character.
Thanks, Tony. What else do we have?
Well,
keep boost under 20 PSI when possible. Why don't you explain to us what that means?
I can't explain that exactly. So here's one, and this was what I was looking for. Some of them, like Frank Ray says he's getting 7.7 miles per gallon.
Really good.
That's really good. We were talking to Alex in here the other day. He traded trucks, and he was getting 7. I forgot what he said, 7.5 right in there on this truck, and he's detailed. He knows exactly. And with this new one, he has spec'd out. He hopes to get over 8 miles per gallon. Now, that is That's how you make money.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, he, a lot of these guys drive. This one says I drive slow, keep my after treatment clean, don't idle.
Yep.
That was Frank.
And that's kind of, I know that people just assume that when you're talking about speed, you're talking about safety, but when you keep your speeds down, it sounds like you can save a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, that's you definitely can. You can, if you would go from 80 to 65 on your way to work, you'd be amazed. You probably get another day out of that.
Well,
Toyota.
I guess we'll just never know, will we?
No.
So keeping your speed down, and not after treatment, fuel treatment. That's like what we talked about with
The additives,
yeah,
Did
at the
any of
truck
these
show
guys?
last year.
Yeah, that's right. We sure did talk a little bit about additives that a lot of guys use.
Yeah.
For sure, and that helps, I think, a lot too. But tire pressure is one that you got to take in consideration. Just so much can go into, the type of truck you buy, whether it's maybe a square hood or an aerodynamic hood on the front. There's just so many things to weigh in here, and to get better fuel mileage, with that being the biggest expense that an owner-operator has. I know they try everything to get better fuel mileage. Save $1. Money in the pocket. More money every week. So
Absolutely.
Good comments. Good episode. Anything else we need to add? I feel like we covered plenty. Really a lot of information in this episode concerning fuel. But, our owner operators, I hope you go back and listen to this. You might have to listen to it a couple times, especially on the fuel fraud stuff, that we need you to pay attention to, because we don't want that to happen to,
Right.
to
Yeah, and
anybody.
if you got any questions or issues,
Yeah, definitely.
Don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Yeah, if you got questions on this stuff that we didn't, because we didn't cover everything. We hit the high spots here. But if you got questions on anything concerning this episode, put it in the comments. Call us up here. Ask us. We want to make sure we get all your answers, all your questions answered.
Yes.
All right. Anything else? Good?
Good.
Okay. Megan, get ready for the dentist. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody, to the Oakley Podcast. We appreciate y'all every week, for sure. And stay tuned. We got some great episodes coming up in the future. So once again, we appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks.